Brother-in-law ruins his son's Nintendo Switch. Last Christmas, my brother Matt and I went in together and bought a Nintendo Switch for his two boys, Tyler and Ben. They're 7 and 9, and when they opened that present on Christmas morning, you would have thought we handed them $1 million. Tyler literally screamed so loud the dog ran and hid under the couch. Ben started crying happy tears and kept hugging the box. It was honestly one of the best Christmas moments I'd ever seen. Since then, those kids have been absolutely obsessed with that thing. Every time I come over, they're playing Mario Kart or showing me some new game they got. They even started a little notebook where they write down all their high scores and draw pictures of their favorite characters. It reminded me so much of Matt and me when we were kids. We bonded over video games, staying up late playing Street Fighter and arguing about who was better at Mortal Kombat. Seeing Tyler and Ben do the same thing made me really happy. I made sure to get a screen protector for the Switch before we gave it to them. You know, because kids are rough with stuff and I didn't want the screen getting all scratched up. I even got one of those heavy-duty ones that could survive pretty much anything. Matt thought I was being paranoid, but I insisted. It cost like $15 extra and seemed worth it to protect a $300 gift. Fast forward to last week. Matt calls me sounding really stressed out. He tells me Tyler and Ben were outside playing in the driveway, got bored, and decided to use a rock to carve their names into the side of his truck. Both of their names, in huge letters, just scratched right into the paint. Now, this isn't Matt's nice truck that he takes to work. This is his old beat-up farm truck that he uses to haul stuff around their property. It's like 20 years old, has dents everywhere, and the paint was already fading. But still, you don't just let your kids destroy your stuff. Matt was furious. Not screaming angry, but that quiet, disappointed angry that's somehow worse. He's telling me this whole story about how he saw the scratches and called both boys outside. They tried to blame each other at first until he pointed out that both of their names were carved into the metal, so clearly they both did it. Tyler started crying, and Ben just stood there looking at the ground. Matt made them apologize and sent them to their rooms. He's ranting to me on the phone about how kids these days don't respect other people's property and how he doesn't know what kind of punishment would actually teach them a lesson. That's when I remembered something. I said to Matt, you know when we bought the Switch, I made sure to put a really good screen protector on it. He just went quiet for a second. I could hear him breathing on the other end of the phone. I continued, so like if someone were to write on the screen with a permanent marker or something, it wouldn't actually hurt the Switch at all. It would just be on the protector, which you could remove whenever you wanted. Matt didn't say anything, but I could tell he was thinking about it. He just went, huh, interesting, and then changed the subject. I didn't hear from him for about 3 days. Then Tyler calls me out of nowhere, completely panicked. Uncle Joe, something terrible happened to our Switch. I ask what's wrong, and he tells me that someone wrote on the screen. I'm like, what do you mean wrote on it? He says there's permanent marker all over it in big letters. I ask what it says, and there's this long pause. Then Ben grabs the phone and says in this tiny scared voice, it says Dad, D-A-D, right across the whole screen. I had to bite my tongue to keep from laughing. I told them maybe their dad was upset about something and wanted to teach them a lesson. Ben immediately says, do you think it's because of the truck? Tyler starts crying in the background saying they're so sorry and they didn't mean to ruin his truck. I tell them they should probably apologize to their dad and maybe he'll fix the Switch. That night, Matt texts me a photo. It's the Nintendo Switch with Dad written across the screen in thick black marker. Below the photo, he wrote, they were absolutely mortified. Spent 2 hours crying and apologizing. I text back asking when he's going to tell them about the screen protector. He replies, in about 3 weeks. Gotta make sure the lesson really sinks in. Want them thinking about that truck every single time they look at this screen. I couldn't even be mad. It was honestly brilliant. The kids are going to remember this forever. And in the end, no actual damage will have been done to anything except Matt's old farm truck. Sometimes the best punishments are the ones that make kids think they ruined something they love. 3 weeks later, Matt finally sat them down and peeled off the screen protector. Tyler and Ben just stared as the word Dad came off cleanly and the screen underneath was perfect. Matt told them that's what a screen protector does. It protects things you care about, just like how they should have protected his truck. They never carved anything into his stuff again.